It begins in silence, a quiet recognition that passes between two people or within a group that is never voiced aloud but is felt by everyone present. It is the unspoken understanding of who holds the weight in the room, whose words land with gravity, whose silence is a force, and whose is merely an absence. This is the realm with power dynamics, the invisible architecture of all human relationships. We like to believe our interactions are governed by fairness, by mutual respect, by the explicit rules of decency we've all agreed upon. But beneath that polite surface runs a deeper, more ancient current. It is the current of influence, of control, of submission and dominance. It operates in the boardroom, in the bedroom, in family gatherings and fleeting glances across a crowded street. To be unaware of this current is to be carried by it, often into waters you never intended to navigate. To understand it, however, is not necessarily to become manipulative or cruel. It is to see the hidden gears of the world, to stop being a passive component within the machine. The first and most fundamental unspoken rule is this: power is never static. It is a fluid transaction, a constant negotiation. It breathes. In every interaction, you are either giving it away, consciously claiming it, or having it taken from you. There is no neutral ground. A sigh, a downward glance, a hesitant agreement, an overly eager offer. These are not just social cues. They are micro-transactions in the economy of power. We think of power as a title, a wealth, a physical strength. And while these are certainly its common currencies, they are not its essence. True power is ultimately psychological. It resides in the perception of control, in the ability to frame reality, to define the terms of engagement, and most critically, in the capacity to remain undisturbed while disturbing others. Consider the simplest of encounters, a request. One person asks another for a favor. On the surface, it is a straightforward exchange, but the power lies not in the answer, but in the framing. The person who makes the request has, in a subtle sense, placed themselves in a subordinate position. They have acknowledged a need. They have made themselves vulnerable to a yes or a no. Yet this dynamic can be flipped in an instant by the tone, by the implied expectation, by the unspoken consequences of refusal. A request made with the quiet assumption of compliance is not a request at all. It is a test. The power then shifts to the person being asked. Their power is the power of the gatekeeper, but how they wield that power defines the next move. A hurried yes gives power away. A reasoned no can claim it. But a hesitant yes, one laced with unspoken resentment, is a loss that will seek repayment later with interest. This is the second unspoken rule. Every yes and every no is a debt incurred in the ledger of influence. You must be aware of which side of the ledger you are on. We are taught from childhood to be agreeable, to be helpful, to say yes. This social conditioning is the primary pipeline through which personal power leaks away, drop by drop over a lifetime. The inability to say no, to tolerate the discomfort of disappointing another, is the signature of someone who has traded their autonomy for a fleeting sense of social safety. They have mistaken likability for strength. But here is the counterintuitive truth. A clear, calm, and consistent no establishes boundaries more effectively than 100 resentful yeses. It communicates self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation upon which the perception of power is built. Others will treat you as you treat yourself. If you constantly sacrifice your time, your energy, your principles on the altar of others' expectations, you broadcast that your resources are low value. You train people to see you as a resource, not as a force. The person who says no politely but firmly is initially met with surprise, sometimes frustration, but over time they are met with respect. Their yes, when it finally comes, carries weight. It becomes valuable because it is not a default setting, it is a conscious grant. This is the quiet power of selectivity. Language itself is a battlefield where power dynamics play out in plain sight, yet remain unseen by the untrained eye. The words we choose, the sentences we construct, the disclaimers we add, they are all signals. Listen to the difference. I think perhaps we could maybe consider this approach, if that's okay with everyone, versus this is the approach we will take. The first is riddled with power-diluting qualifiers. It seeks permission. It apologizes for its own existence. The second assumes authority. It frames reality. It does not seek a committee. It informs one. This does not mean one must be brutish or authoritarian. It means understanding that declarative statements spoken with calm assurance carve out psychological space. They take a stand. And in a world of ambiguous opinions and hedged bets, taking a stand is a powerful magnet. It attracts both allegiance and opposition, but it never attracts indifference. Indifference is the true enemy of power. To be ignored is to be rendered powerless. The third unspoken rule: the power lies in the frame, not in the argument. He who defines the terms of the debate has already won it. If you are constantly reacting to another person's frame, defending yourself within their constructed reality, you have lost before you have begun. Your energy is spent on their battlefield. The powerful move is to refuse the battle on those terms entirely, to step outside their frame and establish a new one. This is not about being right in an argument. It is about controlling the very premise upon which the argument is built. Silence is one of the most potent and misunderstood tools in the arsenal of power. In nature, silence is often a predator's tool. The absence of sound is a vacuum that draws anxiety, that forces projection. In human terms, the person who speaks less, who is comfortable with pauses, who does not rush to fill empty space, holds a distinct advantage. They create tension. Tension is a form of energy that seeks resolution. The desperate party will rush to resolve it, often by talking more, by revealing more, by conceding more. In a negotiation, after an offer is made, the first person to speak loses. They break the silence, and in doing so, they often soften their position. In a conflict, the person who can endure the silent treatment without crumbling holds power. They demonstrate that their emotional state is not dependent on the other's communication. Their peace is internal, not external. This is a fortress. Conversely, the one who bombards the silent party with messages, pleas, or anger is broadcasting their dependency. They are showing their hand, revealing how much the silence pains them. The fourth unspoken rule: neediness is the scent of powerlessness. The more you need a specific outcome from an interaction, their approval, their agreement, their affection, the less power you have within it. This is the cruel mathematics of human psychology. The one who cares less holds more influence. This is not an advocacy for cold detachment from life, but a stark observation of the mechanics at play. To regain power, you must cultivate a posture of genuine internal abundance. The sense that your worth, your stability, your peace is not on the table, not up for negotiation. When you do not need anything from the other person, but merely prefer certain outcomes, you interact from a position of unshakable strength. Your choices become authentic, not desperate. There is a profound difference between being heard and being listened to. Being heard is a biological phenomenon. Sound waves reach the ears. Being listened to is a psychological concession of power. When someone truly listens, they quiet their own internal monologue. They focus, they absorb. In that moment, they are open to your influence. They have allowed you entry into their mental space. Therefore, the act of listening, when done with full presence, is not a passive act of submission. It is an active, strategic tool. It is a form of gathering intelligence. You learn their fears, their desires, their logic, their weaknesses, all while giving them the gift of feeling understood, which is a powerful form of social debt. People will tell you everything you need to know about how to influence them if you only have the patience to listen. They will hand you the keys to their own psychological kingdom. The powerful listener does not listen to reply, they listen to comprehend. And when they finally speak, their words carry the weight of that comprehension. They can reflect the other person's thoughts back to them with such clarity that it feels like being seen for the first time. This creates a deep, often unbreakable bond of influence. The fifth unspoken rule: to control the conversation, you must first surrender to it. Let the other person speak their world into existence. Your power comes not from interrupting it, but from understanding it so completely that you can then guide it. We often confuse volatility with power. The angry boss, the shouting parent, the jealous partner, they appear powerful because they command attention and provoke fear. But this is a fragile, low-resolution form of power. It is based on the external imposition of emotion. It is expensive to maintain, as it constantly burns through social capital and requires ever-increasing demonstrations of rage to achieve the same effect. True high-resolution power is calm. It is the deep ocean, not the crashing wave. The calm person in the midst of chaos becomes the de facto.
Having mapped the internal landscape and the interpersonal currents, we now turn to the broader architecture. Power does not exist in a vacuum between individuals. It coalesces into systems, solidifies into institutions, and becomes embedded in the very culture we breathe. This is where dynamics become structures, where subtle influence hardens into unspoken law. To understand this is to see the matrix within which all the smaller games are played. There is an 18th rule, one that governs societies. Power concentrates. Left unchecked, influence attracts more influence. Capital begets more capital, and control seeks to expand its domain. This is not a conspiracy, but a gravitational principle of social physics. Small advantages compound. Early leads become insurmountable gaps. The playing field is never level, and it has a natural tilt. Those at the higher end will often, consciously or not, design the game to maintain its slope, to make their advantages seem like the natural result of merit or even destiny. They will speak the language of fairness while benefiting from a profound unfairness woven into the system's fabric. Recognizing this is not an invitation to cynicism, but to clarity. Your personal power strategies must account for this gravitational pull. You are not just fighting an individual, you are often navigating a terrain shaped by generations of accumulated advantage. Within these structures, language becomes a tool not just for individual influence, but for social control. The definitions of concepts like success, professionalism, rationality, even sanity, are often power-laden constructions. Who gets to define these terms? The dominant group. Their ways of being, communicating, and thinking become the unspoken standard, the benchmark of normalcy. Deviation is marked as unprofessional, emotional, irrational, or unstable. This is a power move of immense sophistication, making your particular worldview synonymous with objectivity itself. The 19th rule: the most powerful ideologies are the ones we no longer see as ideologies, but as simple reality. To challenge them is not to debate a point, but to appear delusional, to question the nature of the world. Breaking free requires a deliberate act of deconstruction. You must ask repeatedly, who benefits from this definition? Whose voice is absent from this conversation? What alternative ways of being have been rendered invisible or pathological? This is the work of intellectual sovereignty, a reclaiming of the right to define your own reality within and sometimes against the dominant frame. This brings us to the phenomenon of the scapegoat, a timeless mechanism of collective power dynamics. When tension, fear, or failure ripples through a group, a company, a community, a nation, there is a powerful unconscious urge to locate the source of the anxiety outside the group itself, to name a culprit. This culprit, the scapegoat, serves a vital function. They unify the group against a common enemy. They absolve the group of its own complicity or failings, and they provide a cathartic release through condemnation or expulsion. The scapegoat is rarely the true cause of the problem. They are merely the most convenient target, often the one who is different, weak, or who dared to speak an inconvenient truth. Understanding this dynamic is a crucial form of social power. It allows you to see the ritual for what it is. It helps you avoid becoming its victim by not embodying the traits that make for a convenient target during times of crisis. And more importantly, it prevents you from joining the mob, from surrendering your individual judgment to the intoxicating, unifying power of collective blame. The 20th rule: in times of collective anxiety, be wary of the easy target. The true source of the disturbance is almost always more diffuse, more systemic, and far less satisfying to punish. We must now confront the darker alleys of human psychology, where power dynamics become pathological. The so-called dark tetrad traits, narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism, are not mere personality flaws. They are optimized, albeit destructive, operating systems for seizing and wielding power in the short term. They bypass the normal human constraints of empathy, guilt, and long-term reciprocity. The narcissist creates a grandiose personal reality and demands you worship at its altar. Their power comes from the sheer force of their self-belief and their ability to punish those who challenge their fragile illusion. The Machiavellian views all life as a chessboard, people as pieces. Their power comes from cold calculation, strategic deception, and a relentless focus on utility. The psychopath feels no emotional bonds or remorse, allowing them to make ruthless decisions without internal conflict. Their power is the power of the predator who does not see the prey as kin. The sadist derives pleasure from the subjugation itself. Control is not a means to an end, but the end. Their power is addictive and particularly corrosive. These traits are overrepresented in positions of power, not because they are smarter, but because they are less encumbered. They are willing to do what others are not. They play a different game, one with fewer self-imposed rules. The 21st rule, a grim but necessary one: the path to power is often cleared by a reduction in conscience. This is not a recommendation, but a stark observation. It explains why the most compassionate among us often hesitate to lead, and why the most ruthless can climb so quickly. They are not weighed down by the gravitational pull of others' pain. To defend against these forces, you must learn to recognize their signatures early: the love bombing followed by devaluation, the constant gaslighting that makes you doubt your perception, the pity plays that disguise manipulation, the lack of genuine, reciprocal empathy over time. Do not try to out-manipulate a master manipulator from their own playbook. Your power lies in a different domain, in your ability to disengage, to set and enforce non-negotiable boundaries, and to walk away without them needing to admit they were wrong. Your sanity is your power. Preserve it. Beyond defense, we must consider the construction of a positive form of power, one that is generative rather than extractive. This is the concept of sovereign individuality. The sovereign individual is not a king lording over others, but a fully integrated self, governing its own inner state. Their power is derived from a deep autonomy. They are not easily manipulated by social approval or rejection. Their values are internally generated, not externally borrowed. Their sense of worth is intrinsic. They engage with the world from a place of choice, not compulsion. This sovereignty is the antithesis of the needy, reactive state that surrenders power. It is cultivated through a relentless commitment to self-knowledge, through the disciplined management of one's own attention and energy, and through the courage to own one's decisions and their consequences completely, without blame or victimhood. The 22nd rule: ultimate power is the ownership of your entire experience, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. No one can make you feel anything. You grant them that power through your interpretations and your attachments. To reclaim it is to realize you were never truly powerless, only unaware of the controls. This sovereignty leads to a paradoxical kind of influence. When you are no longer seeking power, you often become more powerful. Your actions are no longer tainted by the desperate energy of seeking validation or control. They become pure, focused, effective. People are drawn to this self-contained energy. It is rare and magnetic. They sense that you have nothing to take from them, and thus they can trust you. This is the foundation of true leadership, not the leadership of command, but the leadership of inspiration. The leader who is sovereign does not need followers. They attract disciples, people who choose to walk the path they see illuminated, not out of obligation, but out of genuine resonance. The 23rd rule, the most enduring power is granted, not taken. It is a gift of trust from others to someone they believe will wield influence with wisdom and restraint. We must also examine the power of context. No one is powerful in every situation. The CEO is powerless on a stranded highway with a flat tire if a mechanic stops to help. The master surgeon is powerless in a debate about medieval poetry. Power is domain-specific. A key strategic move, then, is to choose your battles, but more fundamentally, to choose your battlefield. Do not fight the martial artist in the dojo. Invite them to a chess match. Do not argue with the scholar on their own textual minutiae. Shift the debate to the realm of practical consequences. This is not dishonesty. It is the recognition of your own sphere of competence. The 24th rule, you are powerful where your unique skills, knowledge, and temperament intersect with a need in the world. Find that intersection and cultivate it into your personal territory, your domain of unassailable authority. Become so proficient, so knowledgeable, so uniquely valuable